Lost artery.
Thanks to your navigational skills, you've managed to outwit the abominable snowman, and the way to Daventry is clear. The Yeti is huge, with an appetite to match. He might have a slight advantage in a fight.
I'm getting sick of trespassers. I'm going back to Serenia. I'm getting...
He might...
You better have more meat on you than the last one.
Your own death would result from...
I'm getting...
You rub. It appears the layout... A tree perches on the precipice of this precarious path. The rock sits among a crunchy carpet of pine needles. You see numerous evergreen trees and bushes. The edge of the forest is tranquil. The rock sits... You see numerous evergreen trees. You are making your way down the eastern side of these mountains, along a path which rims a narrow ridge. Looking back, you can see the snowy peaks you've risked your life traversing. Perhaps the worst is now behind you. The rock sits... Better not. It's a much longer drop if you fall from the wrong side. The air feels warmer here. Too much so. This rock won't move for you. They're not climbable. Better not. The air, it seems a long way off, but you can almost feel the heat from here. Something about the changing sky seems unnatural. An uncomfortable feeling grows in your stomach. You detect the faint smell of ash. You'll need a harder word for it to have any impact. It's stone deaf. They can't tell you what to expect. You detect the faint. You can't. That's the quickest way to reach Daventry, but certainly not the safest. You are making your way down the eastern side of these mountains, along a path which rims. The snow-capped peaks thrust their way upward towards a reddening sky. A tree perches on the precipice. The rock sits among a crunch. A tree. You are making your way. The rocks. The air feels. It seems a long. Better not. Something about the changing sky seems. The rocks. Cracked, burnt, and lifeless, this is all that remains of the great realm of Daventry. A deep, wide crack has formed in the earth. Cracked, burnt, huge boulders lie scattered about, at rest from their tumble down the mountain. Cracked, cracked. There's little left that can be called vegetation. As useless as it is lifeless, they'd only snap to pieces. A once green woodland, now cruelly charred, spreads out before you. Cracked. There is nothing you can do for the land. The damage has been done. You won't be trekking across that range again anytime soon. There is nothing you can do for the... You cannot close the chasm. There is nothing you... Start off with something smaller, like a pebble. A tree has fallen before the onslaught of the unrelenting fire. No amount of encouragement will right or restore it. The ground split due to extreme heat. Expectorating won't help. Its medicinal value has long been burnt away. You've eaten enough burnt toast to know what it would taste like. Your words are of little comfort to the wounded world around you. You'll find your daily mineral intake elsewhere. Your voice echoes through the cavernous interior. Somehow, whistling doesn't seem appropriate. Wishing to make a good impression, you straighten the holes in your rags. Prince in ex absentia. A cave leads deep into the mountain. You gaze into the cave-like entrance, past the shattered remains of a door, but see nothing but crumbly stone steps leading upward. The door that was is no more. Nothing will hinder your approach. Outside, the desiccated world awaits. It's open and has been for some time. You're thankful for the cooler air inside. All things considered, shouting might produce a problem. Your voice echoes easily. Better keep it down. They aren't known for good taste. It wouldn't be a cave without them. A winding, rickety ramp runs along the walls of the cavern. A tunnel leads off to one side. A tunnel leads off from the cavern entrance. Outside, the ceiling is covered with stalactites. As you aren't a bat, hanging from the ceiling won't help. Don't break them, they may be heritage listed. The cave entrance offers a choice of direction, but little else. You think you can feel a draft. The cave entrance, it's open as you aren't. Whoops. Rushing to get to the bottom of this? A new construction of steps ascends the cavern. You can barely see the ceiling. A stone staircase leads toward the high cavern ceiling. They feel sturdy. The walls are cold, which is a pleasant change from outside. The wall, whatever it knows, is ingrained. Your feet will make better use of this place. Whatever. A new construction, a stone staircase, a new construction. The dragon has seen you. Hypnotized by its baleful glare, you stand frozen in your tracks. You strolled quite seen up to your host. It saw you plainly. Now you're toast. The mountain rises steeply from this plateau. A cave leads into its depths. The mountain rises. Every living thing has been burnt to a crisp. Even the sky appears tainted with flame. Charred trees and stumps jut from the scorched ground beneath the cloudy sea. It's even hot up here. They crumble at your slightest touch. They crumble. The air burns as it brushes your flesh. You don't know how to move it, and it's much too steep to climb. They crumble. The air. The dragon has already laid waste to all life here. There's nothing left to consume. They've been given the kiss of death. Don't waste what precious moisture you have. You cannot awaken the mountain. Don't waste what. There's no cavalry to call. Somehow, a cave entrance leads into the mountainside. You cannot take its shelter with you. Your little knife would barely nick that dragon. You can't. You rub the magic stone. The dragon has seen you. Hypnotized by its baleful glare, you stand frozen in your tracks. You strolled quite seen up to your host. It saw you plainly. You rub. Wishing to make a good impression. You rub. You rub. You rub. You rub. You can't. You. The walkway twists and turns as it winds its way to the top. This part of the cavern houses an old, rotting walkway. This part of the cavern. The walkway twists. Perhaps they've seen too much use over the years. Its use, you fear, is long past. You suspect you won't make headway on this walkway. Your voice echoes easily. Better keep it down. You rub the... The dirty brown storm brew. The jar of invisibility ointment is nearly full of a thick, oily substance. Your little knife. The dragon is every bit as fearsome as you imagine. Its green scales look hard and impregnable. 3 massive heads blow flame and smoke atop its writhing necks. The sight of it makes you shiver. You wouldn't touch it with a 20-foot lance. Calling out may not be a good idea. The dragon notices Princess Rosella being untied and blasts you both with a long licking tongue of flame. Three heads and 6 eyes can't be wrong. Charred trees and stumps jut from the scorched ground beneath a cloudy sea. Every living thing has been burnt. Even the sky appears tainted with flame. Charred, every charred, they crumble at your, they crumble. It's even hot up here. The air burns as it brushes your flesh. They've been given the key. Don't waste what precious. The dragon has already laid. They've been given. The dragon has seen. That's a good idea, although casting the spell would be too dangerous while you're so close to the dragon yourself.
Stormy brew, churn anew.
The dragon has seen you. Hypnotized by its baleful glare, you stand. You strolled, quite seen, up to your host. It saw you plainly. The dragon is every bit as fearsome as. That's a good idea, although casting the spell would be too dangerous while you're so close to the dragon yourself.
Stormy brew, churn anew. The dragon's corpse lies upon the ground, no match for the fury of your magical storm. There is no response. You don't want to eat any part of the dragon. You still wouldn't touch it with a 20-foot lance. Keep your dirty hands to yourself. Wishing to make a good impression, you straighten the holes in your rags. You can't use. You can't. You can't. You can't. You rub the magic stone. You rub. You rub. You rub. It's your sister, Rosella. It's your charred, even this charred, every living. Shouldn't you free her first? Shouldn't you somehow? You can't. You untie your sister.
I thank you, my brave sir. Come, we must journey to my father's castle. My parents will be anxious to meet their daughter's rescuer. Do I know you?
Perhaps. We may have shared a cradle once.
I beg your pardon?
My name is Alexander, of Daventry.
Rosella regards you with a look of bewilderment, then a hint of suspicion.
Prove it.
I don't know how I could.
My mother told me once that my brother had a peculiar birthmark.
Well, in that case...
On his right buttock.
I see. Well, if that is what it will take to prove it to you...
Thank you. I am sorry I did not believe you. Brother.
After all you've been through, I understand completely. I just hope I don't have to prove my identity to the entire kingdom this way.
I can walk. Thank you.
Tell me about our parents.
Our mother, Queen Valenice, is as kind as she is beautiful.
And our father...
You untie your...
Do I prove... Thank you. I am sorry.
After all...
You can...
Tell me about our parents.
Our mother, Queen Valenice, is as kind as she is beautiful. She is also wise and counsels father when he is in need of advice.
And our father?
King Graham has been the bravest and most honorable man this kingdom has ever known. It is only in recent years that our country's misfortunes have taken their toll on him.
I wish I could have been there for him.
You are here now. I think that seeing you will do a great deal to mend his ailing heart.
She doesn't need it.
I can walk. I can...
Why did the dragon come to Daventry?
I do not know. On occasion, I have heard Father mumble something about a curse. He would not speak to me of it, though. Nor would Mother.
Most curious.
The dragon has already...
I am glad to finally be home.
As am I. It was difficult growing up knowing that I had a brother, yet fathoming neither your whereabouts nor whether you were safe. Though I cannot explain it, Somehow I knew you were still alive. I hope your life thus far has not been too unpleasant.
Let's just say that I'm not overly fond of evil wizards.
Then you have something in common with Father. Though he did not know it at the time, one used to serve under him many years ago.
The dragon has already laid...
I have had quite an adventure while journeying here.
I can imagine. Perhaps I too will have an adventure someday. Well, preferably one without a three-headed dragon.
Agreed. I am looking forward to meeting my parents.
We'll surprise them. Are you nervous?
Well, maybe a little.
It will be fine. You'll see.
You have The dragon has already... You have nothing more to say to Rosella. She doesn't need it. You don't want to leave your sister behind. Your sister, Rosella, is looking a little worse for wear. She keeps a brave face as she gazes at you gratefully. You have nothing more to say. This mystical cloudland may never cease to amaze you, but it has ceased to support you. Enjoy the trip.
I can walk. I can.
This mystical cloudland may never cease to amaze you. You have not.
Hello, milady. Milady!
corpse.